And now the works of the Gimot firm. I mean, a reason why they existed and lasted in France for so long was not only the fact that they were great managers and great planners and built a big company and had a lot of people working for them, but because they were makers of gorgeous dolls. And they knew how to promote them. The example I'm showing you is an extremely rare portrait Gimot that would have been probably, in all likelihood, designed by Pierre-François Gimot, who was the father of the company, one of his last works. It is known that he exhibited 8 different models at the Paris 1867 exposition, that famous exposition again, and this is likely one of them. Very, very beautiful doll, well worthy of a designation of being portrait, although we don't know who she is a portrait of, but just a stunning doll. And then there were the classic Gimot Poupees. I say classic, which makes it sound like they're all alike, but they really were not. They evolved over a long period of time. A little bit to tell you about the company. After the father's time, the 2 brothers took over. And Émile Gimot, whose name we all know, was the second in line, and he was designated to not be the head of the company. But his older brother died just shortly before the 1878 Paris exposition, and that changed everything. Émile had been in favor of the bébé and wanted to develop that. His older brother didn't. Now Émile came along and he worked to develop that, and you're going to see that in the development of these dolls. These would be during the 1865 to 70 period of the Gimot dolls. And again, can you see cobalt eyes? Cobalt eyes. We still have that going on. Even though the faces are getting more slender, we still have the pale bisque and the brilliant cobalt eyes. And just, again, although I'm not talking about costumes now, please do take a gander at these fabulous costumes on the dolls of Hanne Büktas. This one is one of my particular favorites. I love it because it has this wonderful little shawl that goes over a dress that is an absolute piece of work in itself. I'm going to turn it around so you can look at her little ringlet curls at the back and her little straw hat with the streamers coming down. That is just wonderful. And she has the kid over wooden body, which is very, very desirable, and beautiful bisque hands, a wonderful early doll from the Gimot company. And then a very classic doll from the Gimot company. If you remember a while ago, I said to you that what is a very primary color that was used during this mid-1860 period was this mauve color. And here she is in this wonderful sheer muslin day dress with a demi-train and decorated with mauve embroidery and ribbons. Just a wonderful, wonderful example all the way around. As the time came nearer the mid-1870s, Gimot started experimenting now with the idea, well, we want to move into this bébé field, but we need to have a kind of a different face. And so what you start seeing happening are things like, look at this, look at the eyes, they're getting bigger. I call these the big-eyed Poupees. And some of them quite dramatically bigger, like this example with the Gimot wooden body. When you judge wooden bodies, by the way, little things you look for are the extra luxury details, like if you can see the line in the upper arm, that's an extra swivel in the upper arm. It was one more, maybe more than one more, piece of engineering work that had to be done in the construction of this body and made it more expensive and more luxurious. So that's always something that you want to be looking at. And grand big eyes. And then another example of not quite as big eyes, but pretty big-eyed girl. And she wearing this very, very beautiful walking suit. And you see now again, difference from the earlier ones we looked at, the face has gotten slender, the body has gotten slender. It's not those chubby little childlike bodies anymore. It's definitely an adult lady body, and the costumes are different, designed not with child flouncy round skirts, but elegant dresses with long trains. Very, very beautiful. It's hard to know. You know, I waver myself between, do I like the early child doll period or do I like these elegant ladies? And okay, I guess you can like both. That's fair. And show you this. First of all, because this is an example of a poupée that is commonly referred to by collectors as the portrait poupée. And again, not a portrait of anyone that we know, but definitely portrait-like qualities in the sense that it was a luxury quality, a very, very luxury design of the face, a special model. If you can base a lot of things on the rarity with which you find pieces, how much they were considered to be luxury, it would be one of the ways. It's not an absolute judgment, but it certainly would be one of the judgments you can make on the item being luxury is, do you find it very often? And you do not find this vase very often. Very, very beautiful with her, again, ladies, ivory satin gown with a long extended train and the wonderful matching satin bonnet, and even her very, very beautiful cameo with the design. Everything about her is just wonderfully perfect. You have then an example of the classic French poupée that was available from Gemot, and we are showing this one undressed because she has her wonderful original chemise with the maroon burgundy ribbons and the matching maroon burgundy ribbons in her hair with the braided detail around the top of her hat. Gemot was very, very particular in trying to have everything that was absolutely just so. Like if the ribbons were maroon here, they would be maroon in the chemise. All the little wonderful details. And then look at the costume that the style came in. The maroon theme, the burgundy theme, is continued in this beautiful and very elegant lady's costume. And then there's this. And here we have the beginning of the time when we're trying to decide, are we making poupées? Are we making bébés? Are we making lady dolls or child dolls? Well, maybe we can try to make a mold that will incorporate the two, that could be used as either one with a little bit of decorative difference. And this is an absolutely superb example of that. And I want to point out to you, check the eyes. The cobalt blue eyes are long gone. We're into 1878. We're now like about 15 years later from those cobalt eyes. And not only are they not cobalt, but I'm going to show you, and you can see from the side view, deep paperweight eyes. So the paperweight eyes have begun to come into style and can be made. And these are gorgeous spiral threading, and they have that look that everyone seeks when they're buying a bébé. But to find them on a poupée like this, it's a very, very short window of time that they were used, and extremely, extremely rare. And I wanted to show you because, again, one of the things you always want to find are wigs like this. Absolutely luxurious, soft, perfectly kept over the years. And coming around the front, having the little ringlet of curls around her forehead, and again, a superb, superb original antique costume. And then finally, Gemot said, well, if we can use our luxury portrait poupées, why can't we use, this is the very first, what's known as the premier bébé. But the little example, this would have been, if it was a child doll, it would have been like a 12 or 13-inch child doll. And they found out, well, gee, we could use that same head on the poupée, and that's what they did. This is the same head that was found on the original child dolls. And you notice how much bigger the eyes are, and a bigger eye cut, and the whole face is, it's not slender, but it's not plump either. It's sort of in between, and was able to be used on both models. And then Gemot continued to make poupées into the 1880s, although if you check their advertising, that was no longer their focus. But they made some things. In fact, they did make one extraordinary group of portrait poupées later in the 1880s that probably were one of a kind. But look at this. This is an example, again, of the very distinctive bébé face, but used and made into a lady, and made in this absolutely extraordinarily preserved. I mean, it's just like as mint as it was made 130 years ago, with its original little festival costume that could have been made as a special commission And notice the arms when it comes around again, that the arms are one-piece arms. They're not gusset jointed at the elbows. So they were actually modeled to be curved-like. They were modeled curved so they could hold the musical instrument. Very, very fine piece. I'm going to stop at this point, and then we're going to come on with another video, and we're going to talk to you, and we're going to show you some wonderful miniature furniture, accessories, costumes, and other delights, because for the French fashion world of the 1860s, 1870s, it was a complete world. The doll did not live in isolation. She had a complete home of her own with everything in it that you might find in a real person's home, and we're going to show you some of those. Thanks for listening.